Mother Nature, Mother Nature, Mother Nature. She has been suffering for the past year, and she's still suffering. The Australian wildfires, global warming, flooding, plastic pollution, namely, climate change. I have been inspired by one of the greatest inspirations to Tanzania, that is Mount Kilimanjaro. I know most of us know Mount Kilimanjaro, and some of us don't know Mount Kilimanjaro. Some of us have been there, and some of us have not been there. Mount Kilimanjaro has been my greatest source of inspiration because of the glaciers at the top of the mountain. There is a very big difference between the glaciers and ice, which people tend to not make a difference. And when you look at the glaciers on the mountain, they are getting extinct. Why? Climate change. Climate change is a diverse topic that needs to be discussed over and over again. It is a global issue that is happening, and it's real. And I would say climate change is not a distant threat. It is a reality that is happening. What am I doing as an individual to prevent that? What are you doing as an individual to protect Mother Nature? There is a difference between environmental pollution or environmental degradation and climate change. When we talk about environmental degradation, we look at deforestation, the cutting down of trees, which is happening every day. We see it every day on the streets. People are cutting down trees, people are making charcoal, people are burning charcoal, people are burning fossil fuels. That is happening. When we talk about climate change, we look at the direct and indirect impacts. And what are some of those direct impacts? Deforestation is one of them. Rising sea levels is one of them. That is something that is directly happening without us knowing, without us having the knowledge. Pollution is happening everywhere. Indirect problems. We have poverty. Research has it that if we don't look into this thing, if we don't take action right now, by 2030, more than 100 million people will be back into poverty. Imagine a developing country like Tanzania, with what we have and where we are, going back into poverty. What does that mean? It is a disaster. It is a disaster that we will not be able to change. Why not take up the challenge right now if you have the opportunity, if you have the facilities to do that? Let's fight for Mother Nature. Let us protect Mother Nature. Stand out and say, I speak for Mother Nature. Trees, I say, they are the lungs of the earth. They are the lungs of the environment. You look at trees and you say, this is so beautiful. The earth is so beautiful. You look at all the earthly landscapes and you say, this is wonderful. And one of the major responsibilities that you have been given as individuals, as persons, on creation, you are told to take care of the environment. That was our major responsibility. But what have we turned the earth into? We have turned Mother Nature into a dumping site. We dump our plastics. We cut down trees, burning fossil fuels, global warming. Nobody cares. Do you ever think of that one person who is 3 years old right now? Do you ever think of their future? Have you ever sat down and thought about somebody who is not yet born, and definitely they're going to be born. Have you ever thought about their future? If you think about their future, that means you will make a difference. You'll be worried. What will happen to them? Due to the rising sea levels, indirect problems, refugees. And refugees, we have both in refugees and out refugees. And we don't become refugees because we want to be refugees. No. We become refugees due to so many facts. And that alone does not make you unique. It does not make me unique because we are all in this together. We are all in this together. It's either you speak out, I speak out, and we do this together, or we die together. Which future are we creating for the youngsters? I look in here and I see there's so many youngsters in here shining bright futures. Which future are we creating for them? Just recently, it was discovered more than 80% of microplastics have been found in the human blood. What are we doing about that? Plastics everywhere, consuming plastics. And we are happy. We don't care. It is not my problem. It is their problem. There's this fallacy that is going on called death for climate. Death for climate simply means somebody is indebted to us and they have to pay the debt. And who is this person? Who is this person responsible for all this? You look at the global north. It has contributed a lot to the destruction and degradation of Mother Nature, contributing a lot to climate injustices in Africa or in the global south. And that alone makes us vulnerable. We are vulnerable. And we all need to stand up. Hosea says, it's either you take action, because you cannot sit and wait for somebody who destroyed the environment, who destroyed the global south, to come here, to come to Tanzania, to come to Africa and rebuild the Africa we want. When you look at the Agenda 63, it talks about the Africa we want. What is it that Africa we want? Urban regreening might just be a solution to the cities. For instance, Dar es Salaam is among the fastest growing cities in Africa. And imagine 64% of the population of Tanzania are the youth. Imagine if their future is killed. We are killing journalists. We are killing doctors. We are killing lawyers. Why don't we stand out? Why don't we speak up for these voices? Let us shout and say we need climate justice. Climate justice is either now or never. And they say the best time and the best day to plant a tree was 20 years ago. And the best time again to plant a tree, it's now or never. So it's either we do it today or we never do it at all. And if we don't do it, we are destroying the future of young people. Mother Nature looks at us and says, do whichever thing you want. Destroy me. Throw all the plastics you want in the ocean. I don't care. Because at the end of the day, you'll all be gone and I will rise. I will shine because I can survive without you, but you cannot survive without me. We depend on the environment. Let us give out something. What do you normally do on your special days? We all celebrate birthdays, we all celebrate anniversaries, we all celebrate international, national days, Independence Days. What do you normally do on those days? From a personal perspective and a personal state, I plant trees on birthdays, and not only birthdays, anniversaries, Independence Days, to just give something to Mother Nature and make sure that somebody or myself as I grow up, I know I'm growing up with something that is going to protect me. Protecting Mother Nature is my responsibility and also your responsibility. Do something good for the environment and let us all shine. Let us say we did this. Climate justice is all we need. Death for climate is always peaceful. The Globe North need to come out and say we did this and we need to take responsibility. One of the things that we can do, what now? Consume less. I know it's very difficult to tell somebody to stop eating beef or chicken or something, but do you know consumption of beef or consumption of meat is one of the contributors of climate change. So if we consume less, maybe I can say let's go vegan. I cannot say that because we cannot all do that. Let's go vegetarian. Can we do that? If we do that, we can change the future that we anticipate for. We can change the environment. It is my responsibility to speak for Mother Nature, because if I can stand out and speak for Mother Nature, then nobody's going to speak about it. Everybody's going to say everything is okay, which I say nothing is okay. If the environment is not okay, I'm not okay, you are not okay, we are all not safe. Let us change the narrative. Let us change the narrative of climate change into climate action. It is time for Mother Nature. Take up that responsibility and say we need to protect our planet. There is no planet B. Thank you.